The desolate path. It was a moonless night as I found myself driving down an isolated road, far from the comfort of city lights. The air felt heavy with an eerie silence, broken only by the sound of my car's engine and the occasional rustling of leaves in the wind. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss, but I couldn't pinpoint exactly what. The road stretched ahead, seemingly endless and desolate. Shadows danced on the periphery, their movements unnerving. My grip on the steering wheel tightened as a chill ran down my spine. I had heard whispers of this road, rumors of its dark history, but dismissed them as mere superstition. Little did I know, I was about to experience its horrors firsthand. As I drove deeper into the night, my headlights illuminated a figure standing in the middle of the road ahead. I slammed on the brakes, my heart pounding in my chest. The figure appeared hazy and indistinct, like a specter emerging from the darkness. I rolled down the window, cautiously calling out to the figure. "Are you okay? Do you need any help?" My words were met with an unnerving silence. The figure remained motionless, its features obscured by the veil of darkness. Fueled by a mix of concern and curiosity, I stepped out of the car, the crunch of gravel under my feet reverberating in the stillness. I approached the figure, my breath catching in my throat as it came into view. To my horror, I realized it was not a person at all. It was a mannequin, its lifeless eyes staring into the abyss. A chill wind blew through, causing the figure to sway unnaturally. A feeling of dread washed over me as I contemplated the purpose of this eerie display. Suddenly, the mannequin's head turned, its gaze fixated on me. Panic surged through my veins as I stumbled backward, my mind racing with fear. The mannequin's plastic features twisted into a haunting smile, its limbs jerking with an otherworldly force. It was as if the spirit of malevolence had taken hold of this inanimate object. I frantically ran back to my car, the engine roaring to life as I sped away from that accursed spot. But the horrors were not over yet. The road seemed to stretch on indefinitely, each turn leading me deeper into a labyrinth of terror. Shadows danced at the edge of my vision, whispering indiscernible words that sent shivers down my spine. As the night wore on, I came across dilapidated structures lining the road, abandoned houses and crumbling buildings that exuded an unsettling aura. Strange symbols adorned their decaying walls, and a sense of ancient malevolence hung heavy in the air. The road seemed to bend and warp, its path leading me into a realm of darkness and despair. The world outside my car became distorted, as if reality itself was unraveling. Whispers grew louder, echoing inside my mind, filling me with a suffocating dread. Just as I thought I couldn't bear it any longer, the road abruptly ended, giving way to a desolate field. I brought my car to a screeching halt, gazing out into the desolation. There, in the distance, I saw a lone figure, its back turned to me, standing amidst the barren landscape. Before I could react, the figure slowly turned, revealing a face twisted with madness and malevolence. It let out a bone-chilling shriek that pierced the night. And I realized with terror that I had become trapped in a nightmarish loop, destined to traverse this haunted road for eternity. And so, I remain, forever tormented by the horrors that lurk along the desolate path, a prisoner of the darkness that consumes me. As the figure's piercing shriek reverberated through the night, I felt a wave of paralyzing fear wash over me. Time seemed to stand still as the haunting sound echoed into the darkness. I desperately searched for an escape, but the road stretched on endlessly, trapping me within its sinister embrace. The figure started to move towards me, its unhinged limbs contorting with each step. Its eyes burned with an otherworldly intensity, and its mouth twisted into a twisted grin that sent chills down my spine. I scrambled back into my car, the engine roaring to life as I pressed the pedal to the floor, desperate to outrun the horrors that pursued me. But no matter how fast I drove, the figure kept pace, its form flickering in and out of existence as if it were a specter from another realm. It was relentless in its pursuit, a manifestation of the darkness that lurked within this forsaken place. In a moment of desperate desperation, I swerved off the road, hoping to lose the figure amidst the tangled undergrowth of a nearby forest. The trees loomed over me like towering sentinels, their branches reaching out like skeletal hands. The forest seemed to come alive, whispering in hushed voices that echoed with malicious intent. I stumbled through the dense foliage, each step a struggle against the gnarled roots that seemed to grasp at my ankles. The air grew thick with an acrid stench, suffocating my senses. Shadows danced around me, their forms shifting and contorting in macabre patterns. With each passing moment, the forest grew darker, its malevolence intensifying. Strange symbols etched onto the trees glowed with an otherworldly light, casting an eerie glow upon the twisted branches. I realized I had stumbled into a realm where reality and nightmare intertwined, where the boundary between the living and the dead was blurred. As I pushed forward, a clearing emerged before me, revealing an ancient stone altar at its center. The air grew colder, and a profound sense of dread settled upon my shoulders. I sensed that this place held the key to my escape, but it also harbored unspeakable horrors. Summoning my last reserves of courage, I approached the altar. Symbols carved into its surface pulsed with an ominous energy, seemingly calling out to the darkness that surrounded me. The ground trembled beneath my feet as the figure emerged from the shadows, its form now towering and ethereal. In a voice that echoed through the depths of my soul, the figure spoke, its words laden with malevolence. "You have trespassed upon sacred ground, mortal. Your fate is sealed." Fear gripped me, but a flicker of defiance burned within. I mustered the strength to utter a single question. "What do you want from me?" The figure's twisted smile widened, revealing rows of sharp, glistening teeth. "Your soul," it hissed, its voice dripping with malice. Before I could react, the symbols on the altar erupted in a blinding burst of light. The world around me shifted and I found myself transported back to the desolate road. But something had changed. The figure was gone, and the malevolent presence that had plagued me had dissipated. With a mixture of relief and trepidation, I drove away from that accursed place, my heart heavy with the weight of the horrors I had witnessed. I vowed never to speak of that night, to bury it deep within the recesses of my mind. But even now, in the safety of my everyday existence, I feel its lingering presence, a reminder that some nightmares never truly fade away, and that the darkness we encounter on our paths may forever haunt us. The desolate path remains, a realm where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting souls who dare to venture into its clutches.